What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing fantastic out there. So I've got a new one to the channel today. So this is a company I have not reviewed or overviewed. I've had a chance to look at some of their stuff, but I haven't gotten anything on the channel or anything in the collection, honestly. So with Reate, you know, everybody knows about the XO, the XOM, the XOK. This is their newest knife. So this is the PL-XT Nitro V PVD coated. This is the blue version. So very interested to see this. This is a pivot lock knife. And there's kind of some mixed feelings on this knife, or some mixed reviews. So I'm interested to see my take on it, see how I feel about it. But let's go ahead and dive right on in. So Reate does have some pretty nice boxes. Got some nice foam here up on the top. Little microfiber as per usual. And then you have a little card here. Let's see if I can actually get it out of the box. Of course, a Reate sticker. And then you have a card, which I'm assuming this is a spec sheet. Shows the knife, and yep, okay, here you go. So it is, again, the PL-XT. Overall length is 6.9, 3-inch blade, a pivot lock, weighs 4.4 ounces. Yeah, so there's your designer, Alvin Lee. So pretty interesting. Like I said, it's got some mixed feelings on this one. I probably should have done a little bit more research on it, but I really wanted to kind of see it for the first time here. So it looks like you have some spare hardware and a spare spring. I will check to see if that spring is a heavier spring or what, but it does give you a spare spring. And then you've got the knife. So first of all, it's a very beautiful presentation. Let's see if we can't get this guy out of here. Well, it's very tight. There we go. All right, let's see, I'll get that all the way off the camera there. So go ahead and let's get right on into this guy. So some really, really vibrant blue G10 there. You have a, looks like it's just a traditional T8. Looks like we have all T8s potentially on this guy. But oversized pivot, as you're probably going to be expecting in a pivot lock. You've got some speed holes, not really my aesthetic choice, but they are done well. They're nice and beveled. The G10 is nice. It's not super grippy, but not super slick. I love that color, though. That color really does it for me. You do have a reversible pocket clip with a filler tab there. The screw sticks up, but yeah, that's not really... I would like to have seen that flush or something, because that's a little on the high side, which I guess, you know, if you're trying to grab the knife, I guess that gives you a little bit of grip there. You do have a black G10 backspacer. Typical steel liners there. Let's go ahead and check the centering on this guy. So centering is spot on. Pretty big size thumb studs there. And then you've got your captive part of the pivot over here on this side. And the pocket clip is a little strange. Let's see, it's not super stiff though. They could have, you know, again, they could have done something different with the pocket clip. It's not very nice aesthetically, honestly. It's just, I mean, it is what it is. It does not look good. It's kind of an ugly pocket clip. And then, like I said, having the screws, I guess, I don't know if they meant for it to be something where you can grab it and pull it out of your pocket. But it's, you know, they're a little chunky. We have only 2 hole jimps, 3 jimps, depending on which part you count. And they are not very grippy. Not too bad, but not very grippy. Outside of that, the only other stuff you have is here on the backspacer. So no other real traction points on the knife. Let's go ahead and flick it for the first time. Now that's not too shabby. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. So here on this side, you do have the Reate logo. You've got a really nice drop point with a swedge. Pretty doggone pokey. A nice little finger choil there. Grind looks pretty good. Go ahead and take a look at that here. Grind looks good there. On this side, you just have Nitro V. And that grind, again, does look pretty doggone good. And it feels pretty damn sharp. It is a flat grind. Yeah, that's flat grind. Or no, is that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a flat grind. Anyway, let's see. Does it say it on the spec sheet? If it does, I'm going to be mad. Okay. No, it doesn't. Okay. So, again, it's just kind of one of those ones where it's a little hard to tell because it does thin out really close down to the edge. But I'm pretty sure that's just a flat grind. Let's take a look at your tip here. So the tip, the grinds are, I want to say they are perfect, which you wouldn't really expect much less from Reate. They are known for their really good OEM work. So that doesn't surprise me at all. One thing we didn't look at is there is a lock on this side. So personal feelings out of the way, which, I mean, I know you guys probably come here just for that, but the knife doesn't look bad. I don't like the speed hole thing, but that's, personal preference. So, but the knife in general does not look bad. The color looks great. Really vibrant coloring on the G10. Blade shape's nice. It's just not anything out of the ordinary. It's a little thick. It's a little chunky for what you're getting. It's actually quite a bit smaller than I was expecting. I don't know why I was expecting it to be a little bit larger, but it does appear to be smaller than I expected. I would like to see some more jimping here on the blade. That's not something that should be, an issue for them, because, I mean, they do a ton of OEM work. I know this is kind of really their first foray into quote-unquote affordable knives. This guy's $100-ish, $100+ right at around $100. Can't remember if it's like $110, $120, something like that. But it's a $100-ish knife. For what you're getting, take away the pivot lock. I know that takes a lot of manufacturing. That takes a lot of stuff. But, and again, this is strictly my opinion, take it or leave it. The pivot lock doesn't add enough to this knife to make it a $100+ knife. You're getting Nitro V steel, G10 steel liners, and what's essentially a button lock. Vosteed's been doing that for a while. I mean, hell, you look at the Vosteed raccoon, the Nitro V raccoons, same size knife. Button lock, their button lock version or their crossbar lock version, but they do it in Nitro V or 14C, and it's $60. That's just, there's so many other variations of that. I mean, Kaiser, hell, even Kubey. I mean, I don't think they don't, not as far as button locks and stuff. To me, like I said, it's a little priced out of what it should be. And I know my opinion doesn't matter for much when it comes to a company, but after the initial newness of it wears off, I don't foresee this being a big seller. I could be wrong, but again, that's just my personal opinion on the knife. So far, anyway. Again, it's not saying it's a bad knife. It's just for $100+, there's a whole lot better you can get out there. Just 100%. That being said, I'll quit bashing the knife now. It feels good in the hand. It is a little chunky, but it does feel the hand nicely. So it's not bad at all on that aspect there. It feels good. Again, I love the color. I'll talk about that a bunch. The pivot lock part of it is pretty good. So I do want to say, and I apologize for not saying it earlier. So this is from Lefty through the Lefty pass around. So huge thank you to all those guys for getting me in on that. So that's a major thing. That's going to bring so much more content to my channel. It is freaking huge. So again, Lefty, if you're watching this, man, I apologize I didn't say this sooner, but fucking thank you, dude. A million times thank you, man. Yeah, it's gonna help my channel grow exponentially. Y'all are gonna get to see, content that I wouldn't ever be able to do, just because of that. And this being one of them. This is not something I would have ever bought, even just to do content on. But I definitely wanted to check it out, and being one of the, some of the first people to get to see it is cool. Or being some of the first channels to really get to talk about it. Again, it's really cool. But one thing that Lefty said is that it doesn't have much of a detent feeling, and it really doesn't. Like it's actually fairly easy to fail. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with thumb studs, but I mean, you can see there's just literally no detent whatsoever. And I don't want to feel like I'm keep bashing the knife, but the action feels like a really weak button lock. I mean, that's really what it feels like. There's no detent whatsoever on this. I would really be interested to see some other companies' takes on this. I will be getting the Vosteed's anchor lock, I think is what they call it, or something like that, on their Ankyo. That'll be going on Kickstarter sometime soon. I will be getting that knife, so that'll be an interesting comparison, direct comparison. And I know Reate does some pivot lock knives, so be interested to see how they all stack up. One cool thing about it is it does, when you do get it to fire, like, I mean, when you just knowing how to flick a thumb stud, it does fire out really well. When you rocket it out there, it does. And I mean, it reverse flicks pretty well. But again, there's just no real detent to it. But because of how the thumb studs are done, you can get that leverage that you need to be able to kind of stage and flick it out there. But if you just try to lazily just roll it, I mean, it makes it easy to thumb roll, I guess. But it's smooth. It's very smooth. No issues there. The lock works, so you got a little lock here. You just flip that lock, and that keeps you from disengaging. And you turn the lock off, and it disengages. Yeah, like I said, it's cool. It's a great proof of concept for Reate. I like seeing them try to get into that $100-something range, but God, and I hate to say it because I am a fan of Reate, but they can do way better than this to be in that $100 range. I mean, like, for real, like, they can do way better than this. And I hate saying that because, like I said, I absolutely love Reate. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this knife. We'll go ahead and do a quick check on the edge, which Reate is always spot on with their sharpness. So as a knife, it will function as a knife. Again, we already read all the specs off, so I'm not going to measure it or weigh it or any of that crap. The edge is super well done. Like I said, it gets really thin behind the edge. The flat grind, it drops off really quickly. Like I said, it almost made me think it was a hollow grind. I'm still feeling, it still kind of feels like it's a hollow. We'll go in to take a look at the sharpening choil here. So it is pretty doggone good. So it looks like your plunge grind, your edge stops thinning out about right here. So you've got about that much right there from the fingernail on. So you've got a pretty good space for sharpening. And yeah, like I said, it knifes very well, but all the other things, it's lacking. So, pocket clip could be way better. I mean, even if they just did a straight folded pocket clip up here and doing the same thing, I mean, or a wire, hell, even a wire pocket clip would have been better on here. The screws sticking way out is just kind of I don't know what they were thinking on that. Thumb studs are good. I like the thumb studs. They work well. Outside of that, it's, like I said, it knifes very well, but the action is, I mean, I guess it's smooth. It just has very little detent. Like no detent at all. I mean, you can see if you can hear it break the detent. Yeah, it's almost unnoticeable. You can see in here the bearings So it has a very unusual bearing system. So the bearings are massive. So you can see them there. They go around the pivot area still. So they are massive bearings. Really cool. You know, it's really interesting. Go check out Lefty EDC's channel. I think he did a video where he opened this knife up, checked it out, and seen how it worked. If it hasn't uploaded yet or whatever, I apologize, but I do know that he took this thing apart, and he said it was an absolute pain in the ass to put back together. But he did a good job because it works flawlessly. But like I said, there is just absolutely no detent whatsoever on this thing. And that's not something that changed with the fact that it was taken apart, because he, you know, he played with it beforehand and had the same issue before and after. Yeah, so let me know what you all think. You know, is this something that has piqued your interest? This is one that I was contemplating buying, and then it popped up on the pass around, and I said, well, I'm not going to buy it until I get to hold it. And I am so glad I didn't. And I hate to say that, but I am definitely glad I didn't buy this. It is not one that I feel is worth the money. So, but if you guys have one, you know, let me know what you think. You know, give me your honest thoughts. Don't just say you love it because you spent money on it and you feel like you have to love it. Again, if this is a knife where honest to goodness, if I bought it, I would return it. And I don't say that often. I've actually only done that one other time, where I bought a knife and it was just, it let me down so much that I had to return it. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all as always. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and just remember to be kind, be humble, be EDC. We'll catch you on the next one.